Hey, how's it going? Peace and blessings, everybody. My name is Ben. Welcome back to another practice. Today is a more, I suppose, like level 2 or advanced practice, just in the sense that we're working with full splits. So 2 blocks can be helpful, although they're not required. You can make it work without any props. And we'll be kind of using like handstand and standing splits and moving into some of these more energetic, bigger postures. Still in a shorter class format. So with that being said, let's go ahead and try it. Let's open up some space and find some strength, and we will start in downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, a little bend in the knees, lift the butt to the sky, find energy in your legs. Let's go ahead and get the movement started by inhaling to a crouching dog. Bend the knees as much as you can. And then exhale, lift the butt to the sky. Inhale, crouching dog. Exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, crouching dog. Exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, crouching dog. Exhale, butt to the sky. Let's get 4 more. Inhale, crouching dog. Exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, crouching dog. Exhale, butt to the sky. Inhale, crouching dog. Butt to the sky. And then inhale, crouching dog. Butt to the sky. Okay, lift the right leg to the sky. 3-legged dog. Sweep right foot through to the top of the mat. Anjaneyasana. Drop the knee down. Flip the top of the foot down and rise up. Go ahead and grab your elbows. And then begin to lift and lower the torso. So think the upper body stays exactly where it is, like roots of a tree. And then the upper body is going to lift and lower. And keep driving your left foot down into the floor behind you. And use that as your anchor to let the upper body just lift and lower. And keep this little movement going. You don't have to go fast. You can go at whatever pace you want. But hopefully you feel this little fire that we're starting to build in the legs, as well as this little opening that we're finding in the upper body. And then from here, go ahead and bring the fingertips down out in front of you. So fingertips are at like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock on the left side, 2 o'clock on the right side, and 12 o'clock is out in front of you, so like a clock. And then tuck the toes under, pull the hips back, but try to keep the right knee kind of into the right armpit, if that makes sense. So you're keeping the upper body and lower body attached. You're just pulling the hips back and straightening-ish through the legs. So the left leg is fully straight behind you, but the right knee may or may not be fully straight. For me, it's not quite there. And take 3 breaths. Move into a twisted lunge. So keep the left fingertips down. Move the right foot out to the side. The toes point out to the side. And then circle all the way open into a big stretch. Grab your left ankle with your right hand and then flex your toes back toward the shin. A block under your left hand is always an option here. And then rotate open. Release this. From here, bring the fingertips down, find a half splits. So hips pull back in space. Half splits should be a little bit easier than pyramid pose. And I'm putting it in after pyramid pose because where we're about to go next is going to be what I consider to be a pretty challenging pose. So that's why we're taking a little moment in the half splits. Hopefully this doesn't feel too challenging. You can kind of take a little bit of a rest for a second. And then our next pose is a nice strong lunge with another bind. So begin to lift up and then back bend. So get the shoulders really onto your back, reach back, and then maybe you find the bind. Maybe you don't find the bind. That's totally fine too. Please know that. So just by reaching for the bind, you're doing everything that we are also doing when we have the bind. So don't be discouraged if the bind isn't there. Stay with me and stay with the challenge and stay with the opening. Go ahead and release. And then this is where we go to splits. So go ahead and try out your full splits. Now, the reason I like to use blocks is because I can't do full splits, but the blocks let me do it. So I usually slide a block on the tall setting underneath my right butt, and then I'm here. Try to point the toes behind me. Try to press the foot down behind me. And I keep my knee bent a little bit. Even though I could straighten the leg here, keeping my knee bent allows me to find a nice even pelvis that faces forward. And that's really the idea here. And then after you've had a handful of breaths, go ahead and release any props or blocks from underneath you. Pull the right foot back a little bit, and then this is where you can take either standing splits or handstand. So even if you're taking handstand, kind of roll through a standing splits. So this would be like a standing splits, and then you can hop into handstand, or you can float up into it. Either way, work with your balance challenge. And then come on down to the mat. Once you come on down to the mat, the journey is just right back into downward facing dog, because we're doing all of that madness on the other side. So go ahead and lift the left leg up to the sky and then step the left foot through into your hanumanasana. Once you get to the hanumanasana, if you want, go ahead and grab your elbows, and then let's do our lifts and our lowers. Strong in the legs, especially strong in the right foot behind you, pressing down. And then the upper body lifts and lowers, but the legs stay super stable. Keep it going. Let's get a handful more of these. These are really nice to just open this connection of the front of the right hip. And then find your fold into a pyramid. But actually, before you even do that, reach the fingertips out in front of you at 10 and 2. Tuck the toes under, pull the hips back. But again, keep your upper body connected to your lower body. So keep this kind of belly to left thigh sort of connection here. Stay high onto your right toes behind you. And then let's find our twist. So drop the right knee down. Open the right foot out to its side a little bit. Bend the right knee, twist open, and maybe that allows you to find your bind. Kick into your hand, rotate open. Stay on the right fingertips so that you bring the energy into your legs. As we release this, we're just going to a little half splits. Take a load off, if you will. Do something that's a little bit simpler for a second. Still stay active, still stay with it, still stay receptive. But again, the half splits just gives us somewhere that's a little bit more manageable than some of these other poses. All right, and then speaking of manageable, go to the next lunge, which is, in my opinion, the most challenging. The back bend, reaching back for your bind, and then the opening. All right, so if your kneecap hurts here, you can grab a blanket, but really you want to be more on your right thigh than on your kneecap. All right, so find that kind of difference. And then eventually go ahead and release and head into full splits. Giving ourselves a nice challenge today, but still moving mindfully, not rushing, taking it one pose at a time. As you get into your full splits, do whatever you like with the arms. It's really about the legs here, so the arms just energetically complement the pose however you need them to. Keep the left knee bent a little bit, flex the toes back, and square off the pelvis, so left hip pulls back. Try not to let the right hip roll open, so roll the right hip closed. And then go ahead and release. Slide the left heel back. Prepare for standing splits or handstand. Your balance challenge, and let it be a challenge. Release out of it, or if you're like me, then fall out of it. Because we can't get it every time. We can't get it perfect every time. That's not life. And then come back into downward facing dog. We're just going to do all that nonsense one more time on the other side, or on each side. And actually, I take that back. It's not nonsense. This is actually very good work that we're doing. All right, lift right leg to the sky, and then step the right foot through. Find your lunge. All right, let's get the same lifts and lowers, but if you want to do something else with the palms or with the arms, you can. All right, and I say nonsense just because it kind of adds some humor in. It's like sometimes we take this practice so seriously, and it should be taken seriously, but at the same time, there's this energy of non-attachment. So just as much as we take it seriously, we also let it go and say, you know what? To a certain extent, I do care a lot, and to a certain extent, I also don't care, right? I also let it all go at the same time, right? And then eventually go into your pyramid. Stay long in your pyramid. And then open into your twist. Option to hook the bind, right hand back to the left ankle. And then close it off. Find a half splits. And then shift forward. Find your lifted lunge with the option for the bind. You could totally do this without the bind, right? Your hands could do whatever you want. Sometimes I just like to place my hands on 2 blocks. but sometimes I like to go for it as well. Stay as long as you want, but personally, that pose I can only take in doses. It's a little intense for me. And go ahead and head into your rendition of full splits, knowing that your full splits could really be anything in between half and full splits. So if you can't do splits, maybe you just do half splits. That's just a little bit longer, right? Inch your way into it. You don't need to go all the way right away. It's taken me many years just to get to this point, and I still am not very close to really being in the full posture without any props. Once again, stay as long as you want, but whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and release the full splits and then go into your standing splits or your handstand. Standing splits is just like Warrior 3. It's a one-legged bound, kind of like this. But if you're feeling a little juicy, then go ahead and take some handstand hops. Give it some tries. Let yourself build your energy a little bit. Play around a little bit. Have some fun with it. And then once again, maybe you gracefully release, or maybe you fall out of it. And if you fall out of it, just laugh at yourself. It's all good. Go to down dog. We just have one more side to go. So left leg up, and then step the left foot through. Find your hanumanasana. Either just sit in the hanumanasana or do your lifts and lowers. Find a little space, find a little feeling. And then from here, move into your pyramid pose. Release the knee down. Open things up a little bit so that you can twist. So bring the left foot a little bit wider. Bring the right fingertips out in front of you. Open yourself up. Let it become a little bit more spherical instead of just a forward and back pose. Feel the openings out to the side in this pose as well. So imagine left knee out to the side and then imagine right foot out to the side, just to keep things rotating open. And then release, move into your half splits. And then one more lunge to go. Heel into the glute. Either just hang out here, again, this is a pretty good place to be as well, or find it. Release and begin to go into full splits, hanumanasana, the pose dedicated to Hanuman. Let it all open, and please know that if you have more time or if you are just starting to feel open, then you can give yourself another round. So this is going to be the last round of this flow in this class, but you could just rewind or you could just start the class over, right? You could do it 2 more full rounds. And each round, right? Eventually you'll get tired and you'll be like, all right, I've had enough. Right? Either your mind or your body will tell you that, but right, you could keep this going and do a couple more rounds and you'll notice the body adapt, right? And especially if you do this practice like once a week or twice a week, right, you'll notice the space open up because the body adapts to what we offer to it. Now go ahead and release and take one more round of either standing splits or a handstand hop. And then had to fall out of it one more time. I can't seem to get the landing on my handstand today, but maybe next time. So go ahead and release down to the ground. Go ahead and come into a seat. Sit in a way that's comfortable for you. Let's take a few breaths together just to close things off. This was a quick practice, so I'm not going to offer a full wind down, but I always recommend taking a moment in a shavasana or taking some stretches or just taking another practice if you like. And go ahead and sit up nice and tall. And take about 5 very smooth breaths. So begin to settle into a bit more of a meditative energy. And if you want, you can focus your awareness on your third eye center, which is known to be the home of our kind of consciousness center, the home of our intuition. So let everything slow down. Keep breathing, keep your focus on your third eye center, right? This practice was about expanding in all directions, all the way to full splits. But in this moment, let's contract everything back to the center of ourselves. So now, instead of looking outward, begin to turn your gaze inward. Take an inhale. Awareness is at the third eye center. On the exhale, move your awareness into the middle of your heart. Inhale up to the third eye center. Exhale to the center of your heart. Inhale, third eye. Exhale, center of the 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 heart. I'll offer the sound of Om one time as we close off the practice. You can join me or simply listen and receive. I bow to each of you, my friends. Peace and love, peace and blessings. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your open-mindedness, your exploration, and your willingness to grow alongside me and alongside each other. Let me know any thoughts that you have in the comments. It's always nice getting to know y'all and seeing some of your same faces over time, over the years, and over the months. Let me know what you want to see in your on this channel and what you're working on in your practice, and I'd love to help serve you in that way. Again, thanks for coming through for today's class. Hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Stay blessed, and I'll see you very soon. Until next time, peace.